Here to guide you to the gates of hell, hidden away behind a human shell. Lost in a sleepless insanity, here frantically, the Tippecanoe tragedy, the one and only Hoosier Horror. Welcome, tricks, freaks, and other treats. When I came up with the idea for this project, I thought it would be really cool to see how Russian horror has evolved over time. However, I completely forgot about the Soviet Union's, dedication to the idea of social realism. So I was extremely disappointed to find that horror was nearly non-existent until the last 20 or so years. So here's a collection of films that I could find from the Soviet Union, as well as a few modern horror films, just for kicks. Or should I say, flicks?
No, you shouldn't say that. It doesn't make any sense.
Sit back, fools, ghouls, and blood pools for a truly terrifying journey through Russian horror history. Our first film is Marriage of a Bear. It is one of the last surviving horror films before the Soviet Union regulated the film industry. This film was made during the NEP period of the early Soviet Union, and was made by this company. I could not find a version with English subtitles, so I could barely understand it. That's a lie. I couldn't understand it at all. I vow to tell the truth from here on out. Other than people being afraid of a bear, I have no clue what happened. The horror film V was the first horror movie to be made after the film industry became heavily regulated. It was made around the time of the thaw, and it was suggested in my research that the film only made it through censors because it was a film about a Russian folktale. The horror of this film was rumored to have been toned down to please the censors. I could not find a good source for this information. The only place I could find it was Wikimillipedia or something like that. But it does seem plausible based on what we know about the thaw period. Censorship at the time wasn't as harsh. The film is about a priest who kills a witch who happens to be the young, beautiful daughter of a nobleman. The priest then is required to pray over her body for 3 nights. The film is cheesy like a really old rubber monster movie. However, the story is well told and just really charming and definitely enchanting. Our next film, Mr. Designer, is about a famous artist who is tasked with designing a mannequin for his storefront. And he finds a young girl to be his model through what might be a supernatural interference. It is a bit unclear. What is clear is the girl was sick at the time of the sculpting. After the design is done, we jump forward in time. The artist is a drug addict who is in jeopardy of losing his property, and he is now tasked with decorating the inside of a rich man's house, where he runs into his old model, who is married to the rich man. However, she claims she's never seen him before, and she goes by a different name too. The fear of the film doesn't come until late into the film, because the model is actually not the model, but the mannequin, and she's out to kill. Wow, really scary, because we all know mannequins are really terrifying.
Hello, horror.
Holy shiitake mushrooms! Manny, you know you can't sneak up on me like that. You know I'm terrified of mannequins.
I like you to meet my boyfriend Quinn. Hello.
Satan, unsave me! Okay, Manny. I've met your boyfriend, Quinn. Now, leave, 'cause mannequins are really terrifying. Okay. This film has a similar idea to The Heart of a Dog, where the creature that is created is an evil, unnatural being, and it was made around the same time, too. In Heart of a Dog, the dog man is definitely a communist Russia. In Mr. Designer, I believe the message is the same, just told in a more subtle way. This film is very cinematically appealing. It may make a good substitute to Heart of the Dog. The end is extremely confusing, and this film is very well designed until the end. Our next film is Nightwatch. I chose to add this film to the list because it's similar to American action horror films such as Blade and Underworld. I also chose to add this to the list because it shows that the growth of Russian horror was not gradual, it was sudden, and it took the form of modern Western horror. Nightwatch is also an action horror film, and it is about the ultimate battle between light and dark. The two sides agree to balance each other out after reaching a stalemate during a battle a long time ago. A prophecy tells that the battle will be won by a special individual. The film follows the side of light, who have created an agency called the Nightwatch. The Nightwatch regulates the acts of darkness that can be committed. This film is really cool and totally fun, and it can be really corny at times. This one you'll want to watch out for in the dead of night. Cargo 200. Wow, this film was really kind of horrible. This film is significant because it shows the hopelessness and nastiness of the post-Soviet era. I don't think it's the most shocking film I've ever seen, but it is quite a depressing film. I would argue that Cargo 200 belongs in the horror genre. If a silly rubber monster movie is considered horror, then Cargo 200 is straight up terror. The film is about a man in power named Zurov, who kidnaps and tortures a girl named Angelica. Zurov is a monster without a doubt. The way he physically and psychologically degrades Angelica is scary and uncomfortable to watch. He reminds me of Hannibal Lecter or Norman Bates, but more realistic and deprived. I can't make any puns or jokes about this film in good taste because of how dark it really gets. Our final film is The Ritual. The Ritual's plot reminded me of the film series Insidious, so I felt that it helps me drive my point home that Russian horror in film jumped to where it is rather than developed like Western horror. The main character's mother dies of a sickness. Then soon after, the sister of the main character starts dying, and in order to save her, she must face her sister's greatest pains, fears, and demons in this nightmarish realm. This film was a pain to watch. Not because it was scary, but because it was boring. The characters' relationships aren't fleshed out enough in the beginning for anyone to really care about what's going on. It has cool visuals at times, and even has a shocking twist. This one might be worth seeing if you can summon the strength to sit through the first half for the cool visuals in the second half. I hope you had a scary good time with me, and hopefully you found a great film along the way. It's now time for me to stop clowning around. I'm just kidding. However, it is time for me to go. So, like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the rage box below.
Oh, what kind of balloon animal do you want? A lion? Are you lying to me?